Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out reverse memories on Nintendo Switch. What we got going on here? Settings, text speed, auto speed. Let's get that text speed up. It's kind of a quiet game, huh? Alright, new story. Check it out. I don't like this city. Just like how I dislike other cities. The streets, park, school. The scenery is the same. No matter which city I live in, the architecture is the same. Because of my parents' work, I've moved to a lot of different cities. Because of the nature of their work, I'm always alone in this big empty house. Maybe it's because I keep moving. I like being left alone. Compared to my peers, I'm unsociable. You must promise me that we'll be friends forever. I made a promise to my childhood friend. When I return the next year, though, I'm just a stranger. Oh, who are you? Only children in fairy tales remember their promises during childhood. In truth, children's memories are unreliable. How are they supposed to keep their promises? Even though I was only a child back then. I already knew such a fact that only adults should understand. I'd been in the city for a while, but I still hadn't made any friends. Children tend to reject outsiders, I was fully aware. In a game where we'd roleplay as superheroes, the newcomer would only be allowed to play as the villain or comedic relief. When I asked to be the best superhero of them all, they just say, "Sheng, you're such a wimp. If you don't want to be Robin, you can just be Joker." They gave me a straight answer that left no room for interpretation. After that, I stopped playing with the neighborhood kids. Because before I could wait for another newcomer to arrive and replace me, I'd already been in another city and became the new newcomer. I chose to stay at home all alone. I continued to gaze out the window alone. I choose to wait for the vapor trails in the sky to turn into a blaze of fire alone. I choose to count the number of cars that drove past the window alone. Until one day, when she appeared in front of me. I couldn't remember the exact date. I only remember it was a rainy day. In the morning, the sky was still clear and bright, then it suddenly became dark. Just like a spoiled child who couldn't be tamed, the rain was the spoiled child I preferred to stay away from. Ding dong, ding dong. It wasn't the time for my parents to return home, but the bell kept ringing. I remember what my parents told me. Do not open the door to strangers. I hid myself inside the house. Ding dong, ding dong. The bell kept ringing. If it continued like this, I would be unable to focus on counting the number of umbrellas outside. I convinced myself to take a look, so I stood on a chair and looked through the peephole. Outside the door stood a petite shadow. Bang, bang, bang. She kept pounding on the door repeatedly. Maybe she's in a hurry? If she's a child like me, then she didn't count as a stranger. Who are you? Her reply was washed away by the sounds of the rain. I hesitated, and finally, curiosity won over. I opened the thick door in front of me. I'm sorry, I lied. I didn't like being alone. The moisture in the air rushed into the house. The rain splattered inside, making my feet wet. Outside the door stood a girl a little older than me. Her pitch-black hair was drenched on her shoulders. Her slightly oversized white shirt was soaked, and the rain kept pouring, her clothes draped tightly around her petite, shivering body. May I come in? The girl kept shivering. Her pale lips quivered as she uttered that sentence. Her tiny chest kept throbbing and was panting heavily, as if she was the main female character being chased by villains. Sheng, you're such a wimp. Robin is perfect for you. That familiar mocking voice echoed into my heart. Let me be your hero. I'll protect you. I wanted to prove those mocking voices wrong. I let my imagination run wild and blurted out those lines. And that's how we first met. It was only later that I realized she just moved into the house next to mine. That day, she accidentally locked herself out. Maybe it was because our meeting was so unique, or maybe she wasn't unreasonable like other kids. We slowly got to know each other. Every afternoon after school, every morning during weekends, she would always appear. She would smile and gently call out my name. Before I knew it, she became my first friend. She became the first true friend to me, someone who had always been alone. Even though I had boldly said I would protect her, in fact, she was the one who kept me company when I felt lonely. She gently held my hands, and we walked leisurely along the pavement, painted yellow by the sunset. Hold on a minute.